I'm sorry, I find this rather unsettling. If I was out there helping people not pay tax, I'd probably be arrested. HSBC was enabling customers to break the law and not pay tax. Hi guys, so today on YouTube I watched the Panorama HSBC, the Bank of Tax Cheats. Now make sure you follow me, as every single day I post about interesting documentaries that nobody else talks about. Now, some years ago, Panorama did a documentary highlighting the fact that HSBC throughout the years has helped people, rich people, may I add, to evade tax. They have helped, HSBC has helped many rich people, given many rich people advice on how to dodge paying tax. HSBC has helped these rich people break the law. What's even worse is if I'm out there helping people avoid tax and break the law, I'd probably be dealt with legally and held legally accountable. However, the chairman of HSBC at the time, he was given a peerage. This Stephen guy is now called Lord Stephen Green. He's in the House of Lords, even though he was the chairman of HSBC, whilst HSBC was helping rich people not pay tax. So this is how it worked. So HSBC has a branch of their own bank in Switzerland, HSBC Swiss. Now, a lot of rich people will keep their money in what we call offshore accounts. So accounts in another country, in this case, in Switzerland. Now, legally, we can keep our money in banks in Switzerland and not have to pay tax on that money, as long as the money that is in Switzerland does not come back to the UK and we do not start using it in the UK. Once that money touches UK soil, I have to declare that money to the taxman. However, remember that very big D word. I said you have to declare the money you are putting in your Swiss banks. However, a lot of people, rich people, are keeping money in Switzerland banks, in this HSBC bank, but the Switzerland version. They are keeping their money in this bank and not declaring it to the taxman, so they do not have to pay tax on this money. Now, the problem is they need to bring that money back to the UK. Otherwise, what's the point of having money that you can't use? These rich people don't live in Switzerland. They're not from Switzerland. They want to bring their money back to the UK. But how do they bring their money back to the UK without the taxman realizing? Oh, that's where HSBC comes in very handy. So I'll give you an example of a business owner in the UK. He kept his money in a Swiss bank. Now, he wanted to then use that money in the UK. So he called a banker who works for the HSBC Swiss branch. This banker said to him, "Sorry, I'm not going to deliver your money to you personally. That's too risky for me. I might lose my job." But what this banker in Switzerland said to this man is, "Don't worry, you can go and collect your money at a HSBC branch in the UK and there will be no tax put on that money." So this banker has allowed this businessman to get his money tax-free. He has allowed this man to break the law. The legal way to do this was the man would have had to transfer his Swiss money to the UK, and that the taxman would clock, or he would declare his money to the taxman, and the taxman would tax that money. However, he said, "I don't want to do that." So HSBC helped him out and helped him not pay tax by keeping his money for him in a HSBC branch in the UK, where he went to go and collect it. At one point, the EU made a law because many people were not declaring the cash they kept in their Swiss bank accounts. You have to remember, this is a bunch of people. There were a mixture of people keeping their money in Swiss accounts and not declaring that they are keeping their money there. So the EU said, "We are going to introduce a law called the European Savings Direct." All this law meant was that Swiss banks could collect any tax owed on these undeclared accounts. So the Swiss bank would know that you are not paying tax on a certain amount of money. You owe tax. The Swiss bank takes that tax you owe and pays it to the taxman. Very simple. However, HSBC started warning their clients that there is a new law. And they started warning their clients that you need to quickly withdraw your money or find other means to keep your money so your money is not taxed. HSBC was enabling customers to break the law and not pay tax. One way HSBC would continue to help people evade tax was by building trust. So basically saying to them, you can open an account in, I don't know, a place that doesn't have massive tax laws and a place that has big secrecy laws. So what this means is you can keep your money in this country secretly and not have to tell the tax man. HSBC helped its customers to do that. Another way HSBC would help its clients to dodge tax was by giving them credit cards. These credit cards would link to their offshore accounts. In other words, these credit cards would be linked to the accounts which are abroad, which they are hiding their money in. Now, HSBC's rich clients would go to the ATM and withdraw money using this credit card. Remember, this credit card is not linked to a UK bank account. This credit card is linked possibly to a Swiss bank account. It is linked to a bank account that is not in the UK. So these clients would go and withdraw money using this particular credit card, and it wouldn't be obvious where they were withdrawing money from. So when these clients went to go and take money out of the ATM using these credit cards which are linked to a foreign account, all it would show is that they are withdrawing money. It would not show the source of where they are getting the money from. So it would technically look like they are getting their money from a UK account. That way they were able to evade tax because it wouldn't show where the money was coming from. Even if it became obvious that these clients were taking out money, were withdrawing money from accounts that were not based in the UK, a lot of these countries have secrecy laws, i.e. Switzerland. That means the banks in Switzerland are not legally obliged to release details about their clients. The banks in Switzerland do not have to tell the UK, oh, hi, we've got Roger Matthews here and he has £700,000 in his account. Because it's none of their business. So this is how HSBC Bank willingly helped clients to avoid tax. I mean, Amazon also paid very, very little tax, and they pay very little tax through similar means. Not exactly the same, but it's kind of horrifying because Amazon doesn't pay their workers enough money for the pain they get put through. And if you're evading tax and you're not paying all that tax, maybe that tax that you're saving, pay it to your customers. I mean, say to your workers. Pay for better work conditions because the conditions in Amazon are absolutely awful. Oh my days. I've done many documentaries on Amazon.